Alright, good morning guys. I'm just on my way back from meeting with a new title and escrow company. Those are good relationships for me because it allows me to connect with somebody who knows a lot of real estate agents, right? So title and escrow officers, they usually network with anywhere between like 50 and 100 different agents throughout the month because that's where they get their business from, right? Like the agents are the ones that bring them new escrows. So anyways, I got a connection through somebody that I used to know from BNI to go meet with title and escrow pair, and we were supposed to go grab lunch, but things got mixed up, so we went and just met this morning real quick to talk about like where they are in their business and what they're working on, and then also kind of who I am, just to kind of give them the about me story. And it's interesting, most people I know in title and escrow are like 50 plus years old. They've been doing it forever. It's just like, you know, they started a long time ago. I think that's it. Like in this area, at least specifically, there's not a lot of young crowd people. So anyway, I didn't know who I was getting into. Like I saw a picture of her online, and she looks like she's probably in her 30s. And then she's got a partner, and he's been in real estate for about a decade, like me. And so I'm guessing they're probably in their mid 30s, which is just kind of interesting, like a different take on the perspective of the business, I guess, you know. So my first question always is like, how'd you get into this business? For them, you know, how'd you get into title and escrow, and like, how'd you get started, and what's of interest to you? And you know, they got into real estate. Basically, one of them was a real estate agent for a little while, and then a few years back got into title and escrow. And I guess just hearing their perspective kind of on the industry is different, you know. So if you talk to all the, I'll just call them 60 plus year olds. If you talk to all the 60 plus year olds, it's like, you know, the business is changing, and they're kind of grumpy about it, almost like not whining, but just like, oh, the business is like changing, and the way it used to go, you know, is different, and everyone wants something quicker. And anyway, it's just kind of an interesting point of view. And then these guys are, you know, they're not ragging on the older agents. It's just like everyone around here is like 60 years old, and everyone's like set in their ways, and nobody will change, right? So it's interesting to see, I keep saying interesting, it's interesting to see how the older demographic thinks everything is changing and how it's not the way that it used to be, and how the younger demographic is saying that everybody's just stubborn and staying the same. So like, it's the same thing, but it's just like a conflicting way of looking at it. It's so interesting. So it'd be interesting to hear, like, if you're watching this from another industry besides real estate, like, where do you think your industry is going? Tony Robbins talks about in his business mastery course the age of a business, right, and like where it is. So he talks about, like, let's just talk on this side of the scale, brand new, young. Let's just call this like artificial intelligence, right? Like it's super young, no one's really figured it out yet. It's in its infancy. And then you go all the way to the other side of the spectrum, which is like it's dying out. So let's talk about like the think about trains. Like I can't remember the terminology right now, but like the coal-fired train, right, where you had to like shovel coal into the engine to get it to run. Like there's not a lot of coal-running locomotives out there anymore. So that not the industry, but that technology is dying, right? Like now most trains run electrically. So the industry of trains is probably like here, meaning like it's kind of phasing out. There's other ways of transporting goods around the country, and locomotives with coal is down here. But then artificial intelligence is like still trying to figure its way out, right? So real estate, if you think about real estate as a whole, like everyone's always going to need a house to buy. How houses are bought and sold is changing, right? Like there's a lot more technology that's coming out. There's a lot of new ways to represent buyers and sellers. It's changing, and I don't know where it is necessarily. It's somewhere like in the straight up mode. The real estate agent, though, I think is like coming over here. Like the lifespan of a real estate agent is getting to be obsolete. In another decade, there's going to be a lot less real estate agents than there are now. And that's just my personal opinion. Technology will change. It's just going to change everything. But think about like your business, if you're not in real estate, because we're talking about that, you know, like where's technology going in your life? Not technology, sorry. Where is your industry going right now? Is it still brand new? Is it something that's still kind of being involved? If you're selling AI and kind of developing like Oculus and things like that, it's still pretty new, right? Where is it in that spectrum? And think of it as a whole. Like think of real estate as a whole. Like it's still kind of in the middle because it still has a long ways to go. But maybe the specific person who's selling real estate, the agent, is kind of over here on their way out. So where are you in that what's your industry, and then what's your position in that industry. So let's take chiropractic, for example. I think that chiropractic, personally, in my opinion, is going to be around for a while because it's kind of a more natural way of healing, right? Instead of surgeries and things like that. So it's still probably in the middle. It's been around for a long, long time. But there's still, some new developments that come out every once in a while. There's still different ways of eating and processing the foods that we have, and a lot more modern methods of eating. So I'll say it's kind of in the middle. But maybe the chiropractor, in that sense, is maybe kind of leaning to the side, because there might be other ways of handling that situation, right? So think about that in your business. Hopefully I explained that properly. But anyway, it's just kind of like there's no relevance to this. I'm just saying, think about that in your business, and think about like where your industry is, and think about where you are in that industry. So if you're a real estate agent and you're like, oh, I still love real estate, and it's still in the middle of the road and it's not dead yet, maybe you need a shift, right? Like these guys, title and escrow, like that part of it will be around for a while. Maybe the title and escrow officer won't be. Maybe there's going to be another way of handling that side of it. But maybe there's another section of real estate. Maybe you run a website. Maybe you just create content that's about real estate. That's what we actually talked about in our meeting, is about real estate agents actually being a content producer and being able to tell the story of all the professions that happen in the real estate transaction. The title company, the escrow company, like what all those means, what's the contingency period, what's all the inspections for. Let's talk to the inspector and discuss that whole process. Let's talk about the loan and working with the lender and everything that's required to close on the house. And if you thought about being the real estate agent and projecting all that content to the homeowner and the buyer, you'd have a job forever, because you always need to educate your clients on how real estate's bought and sold. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't know. So, interesting way of thinking about it, right? So think about your industry and where it is, and then where you fit into that. And is your job still going to be around in 10 years? And maybe you need to kind of make a couple of shifts so that you're more on the cutting edge side of things. Alright guys, just heading out of Temecula. Finished up our lunch and learn, call it tech lab out here, but just finishing that up. We taught about Asana, as I was saying before. We had an okay turnout. Like I've told you guys before, like it's hit or miss. You never know. Like sometimes we have one person show up. Sometimes I have like 40. Today we just had a couple, but that's okay. It's kind of fun when it's more of an intimate class, because it allows me to really help each individual student more than just kind of being broad. Because you'll have people who are like, it took them 20 minutes just to figure out how to get on the Wi-Fi, and sometimes there's other people who are already using that app or that program that we're talking about, and they just want to know like a few key takeaways from it. So anyway, I like today. It went really well. A few good agents who showed up who I hadn't talked to before, so that was fun. And again, just got into some of the productivity of what Asana can do. So if you haven't checked out Asana by now, which is probably like 30 seconds in the vlog, but it's been 3 hours for me, go check it out. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of things you can do for free in that, and just good space management and keeping you more productive. So now I'm heading back to Carlsbad. It is like 93 degrees out here, and ready to go back to the coastal foggy area of Carlsbad. But I kind of wanted to wrap up my thoughts on the vlog this week. We've been talking about really a bunch of different things this week, and it's like Thursday, so I still got a ways to go. But we've been talking about kind of younger ways of thinking and older ways of thinking. And I don't really like to get age specific, because I think people take it as like, well, he's younger, he doesn't understand me, or he's older and he doesn't understand me, right? Like you take it either way, because I'm kind of in the middle. Like I'm just about to turn 40. So if you're in your 20s, you're like, he doesn't know that anymore. And if you're like 60, then you're like, he doesn't know me because he hasn't experienced these things anymore. So it's kind of a weird middle of the road for me. But what I wanted to get to is just getting deeper in your thoughts and how you outlook life. And I'm going to try to keep this as PC as I can, because there's some people who might watch this later who will get very offended by the things I'm going to say. So I got to be kind of vague, and hopefully I'll figure out that I'm talking about them. Anyway, with that said, I think as you age in life, your point of view and how you look at things change, right? So, for example, like it's 93 degrees outside. There's not a single cloud in the sky. It's just like, I'll leave it at that. Let's talk about the weather for a sec, right? So, it's 93, it's sunny, it's July. Like, there are so many different ways that you can kind of take this conversation, right? If you're young, I'm just going to put it this way. If you're young, you could say, oh man, it's beautiful. Like we could go out hiking. We could go to the pool. We could go to the lake. We could be outdoors. It's July. Like let's go get some sun and let's have some fun. Or you can turn that conversation and be like, oh my gosh, it's so freaking hot out here. Like everywhere I go, I sweat. I hate getting in my car and driving places because it's hot, right? So you can have the positive or you can have the negative outlook on life. And personally, my experience has been talking to people, the older people get, the more negative they are in their life. And I know this isn't true because there's plenty of young negative people that I know. And there's plenty of older people that I know who have a super positive outlook in life. So I guess my point is just saying to you, why focus on the negative, right? Sorry, this thing can be super loud back here. I'm gonna hold it down. Why focus on the negative things in life when you can focus on the positive, right? Like I could say, yeah, it is hot out here, but what a beautiful day. Like it's awesome. People are out doing things. I can work on my suntan. Hopefully I don't get sunburned. I'm just enjoying the day. Like what is focusing on a negative aspect going to do for you in your life? Nothing. It's just going to bring you down and make you negative, and it's going to cause everybody else around you to be negative too. So find the good things in life to focus on, right? There's got to be something positive in everything that you do, and just kind of go deeper on that. And I think if you focus on those positive things and those things that are going to make you happy, you'll have more of a positive outlook on life. If you just focus on the negative things, you're always going to be looking for those negative things. You're always going to be telling yourself that it's not as good as it could be. It should be better. I wish things were different than they are, and you're never going to be happy. So I guess my kind of quick rant this week is just be young at heart, be positive about things, find ways to find the positive in everything that you do, no matter what. I have a good friend who we went to Tony Robbins a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years ago, last month. And Tony says this great thing. He says, life happens for us, not to us. So think about that for a bit, right? Life is happening for us, for our experiences, for our enjoyment, for our pleasures, for our ability to get something out of it. It's not happening to us. Like life didn't say, all right, Eric, slap me around. It's not like trying to get back at me. It's not trying to say, I hope you have a bad day. It's just life's happening for us. It's the experiences that we take from it. Every day brings on new experiences, and those new experiences are going to lead us to new forks in life and new paths that we can choose. So how you choose to focus on those things is going to lead to the next fork and the next fork and the next fork. So remember that. Life is happening for you, not to you. Let that resonate for a little bit. I like that thought though. For you, not to you. So what are you going to learn out of life lessons today, right? You watched this video today. Maybe you didn't know this was coming. Maybe I hit you up on an ad, or maybe you saw this in a YouTube search, or somehow you found this video. Maybe you've never heard of me before. Maybe you've seen me 1,000 times. I don't know. We have a lot of content out there. But there's a reason that this video showed up for you today, and you need to see this. So if you're still watching, and you're enjoying the vlog, I appreciate that. But just realize that there was a reason that this thought was supposed to be put in your mind today. So let's focus on the 4, not the 2. And really try to find a win-win for your life today. Guys, as I wrap this up, my name's Eric. I appreciate you following along every single week. I run a consulting business here in San Diego where we help you guys tell your story, get your content out there, share more about your life every single day and what it is that you're doing and what makes you the expert in your field. I appreciate you joining us along in this journey. I try to tell my story as much as I can, try to bring you along, as you can tell, day to day in my car, or at the office, or just through little stories or things like that, so that you guys can have the right mindset, that you can do the right things, that you can focus on your wins, focus on your strengths, do more with business, and I'm here for you. So hit subscribe below, hit the bell if you're on YouTube watching this. I love to be in your feed every single day, bringing you value, inspiration, motivation, and most of all, marketing strategies that work for your business. Guys, thanks for being here. We will see you next week. Bye, guys.